Dear friends, welcome back to the iPhone app creation video tutorial. This is video number 21, and I apologize for taking a long 4 weeks of break to come back to this tutorial again. I was busy with something else, so couldn't get time to come back. So here I am again. We're going to continue from where we left. So just to refresh your memory, we are going to run the application again and see what all we did so far and take it from there. So you know the application name is Book Tracker Tutorial. We'll open it. And what we will do is we'll do a quick run to see where we were. I'm going to change the device to, I don't know, maybe iPhone SE. Okay. And run the application. It's going to take a little bit of time as we run it. But if you recall last time when we left, though our app was working, there were certain functionalities which were not working the way we wanted to. So let's see what were the fallacies and try to see if you can correct it in this tutorial today. If you've already done it, please do leave your comment in the comment box and do let me know. I'll be very happy to see if you have progressed further from where I left. Okay, so give it a while as it comes up. I think as you can see here, it's launching the book tutorial. It has built the application so far, and it's going to bring it up. So while it's bringing it up, I also want to let you know that soon I'm going to start my Flutter series as well. I think some of you have demanded that how do you create cross-platform application, and that was one of the desires some of you have shown. So I'm going to create that for you in the upcoming version. So let's see if you can switch this around. All right, there you go. So this is our app. If you recall, there were three tabs: reading, to be read, and books already read. Right now it seems that all of them are empty. There are no books there. You know that we under display book, there's add book form where we can add, and I search, we have not even defined it, so it remains blank. So let's come to add book. Let's add a book just to make sure we can understand where the app was when we left it last time. Okay, so let's say talking to strangers. I finished this book just last week, so it is up in my mind, fresh in the mind. Talking to strangers. Author is Malcolm Gladwell. Say the fiction is a genre, and we say, since I've already read it, I'll say read. Okay, for now, and then I can save this. So when you save, I think it refreshes and it comes to talking to strangers here, right? We did a few more things. If you swipe right, you can delete it. For now, let's do the update. When you do the update, what it does is, it opens the same add book, but it makes it as edit book, as you can see on the top, right here and right here. And you can edit the book. Let's say from read, I'll say I'm currently reading, and I save this. Okay, so when you save this, a few problems. First problem is you can see that the book still shows talking to strangers in red. That's because I've not refreshed the screen. It should be in reading, and it'll happen when you go to that tab and goes away, but the screen is not automatically refreshing. So for example, if I click here, it shows now here, go back to read, it goes away, but it is not refreshing the screen. That's problem number one. Problem two is it's still showing edit book. It should be add book, right? If I click here, it shows the old book here, which is not good. I have to clean it. And if I do it again as well, since it is an edit book, it will replace the book that I already have, which is not a good thing, right? So if I give a book name here, and let's try it out. Let's say if I say let's say Dead Awake, from Eric Larson, and I say genre is nonfiction, and I say read. So you see that I'm adding a new book, but since it is an edit book, and if I save it, it will replace my two strangers. So we go to reading, to be read, and again it's not refreshing and say the dead awake does talking to strangers gone. You don't want these desired features, right? And again, you want edit book, and your ad book is completely gone. So how do you do that? So let's do the correction today and see that our app is completely functional and all of those broken elements are taken care of, right? So let's stop the application and go back to our display book controller. Just to refresh how it was happening is every time you swipe, there is a table view function on its trailing swipe action configure for row ad. So whichever row you're swiping, it comes there, and our function was update, it goes here. So what you see here is we set the navigation bar top title items edit book, we set the bar controller to edit book, and then we are setting various value of that view controller, which we're accessing by the way here, which is add book controller values to the required values. And with that, we set the index to 1, which is a second index. It starts with 0. If you recall, it comes to add book 1. And if you see here in the view will appear, or view did appear, you see here I'm checking if your book name is not nil, which is the case. If you're editing, it will set all of the text fields with the right values, and then it works out, right? And then when you update, which is happening, save book and update book, you're updating everything, you're going back to the selected index, but it is not doing the job that you want to do, right? Because we're now resetting everything back. So what you need to do is very simple. You need to reset, as if once you're updating it, you need to make sure everything is add book. So what do you do that? You do a few things. You first of all do book name, which is your class, if you recall, right? If you recall here, this is a class you define, and book is a object of the class, right? So book name, you say that now that I've updated, I want to make it blank. So as the book dot everything, in fact, author name, book dot genre, the status, which is read, reading, to be read, status, and book dot book id, yeah, I'm making it all blank, right? And then if you recall, we check for a flag known as update flag, right? I can show it to you when I go back here. See that update flag, which is how you get to know if you search it in the ad book view controller. You see that it is by default false, but when you set it as true, it calls the update book, right? So we have to call save book. If you recall, it was calling update book all the time. So when you're updating book, which is right here, what you need to do is you say that, hey, my update flag is back to false. All right. And once you are done that, it should pretty much do the job, right? So you come here, and if you say the navigation controller, navigation bar, you can, this also you can set it up accordingly. So you can go here if you want, and you can say navigation bar dot top item dot title equals to what? You have to set it to ad book. So and then you have to say self dot, you have the tab bar, which is down below, tab bar controller dot tab bar tab bar controller dot tab bar, right, which is a bar, and then you have the items. I've told about this before, and you want the second one, so 0 1, and the title of that. So tab bar items title is equal to, let's say, ad book. All right, cool. So you have done this. It is giving value fix. Okay, put the question mark here. Okay, there is no navigation bar here, so nav controller dot navigation bar dot title top item subtitle. So add book. All right. So this is for the navigation bar, and this is for the tab bar controller. So you've done this. So what will happen as soon as you update it? Let's for readability purpose, I want to do it at the end. So I've set the add book. I've make it all blank. I made the update blank as false, and then I move to the selected index. Okay, let's see if it works now. Let's run this. Okay. All right. By default, it shows ad book. Great. Come here, dead awake. I want to update it. It becomes edit book, edit book. Great. Let's say I want to say to be read, and I update this. As soon as I update, see, one problem is solved. It says ad book, but again, I come back to here, but I know I made it reading, I believe, right? Or to be read. So it isn't a to be read, and it's not read. So what has happened is, it comes back here. It goes to add book as well. And if you see add book is working now. So if I add a new book now, let's say talking to strangers, if I want to add it back. And if I give it a name, author name was Malcolm Gladwell, and genre is again non-fiction, and I say to be read, and I save this. It comes back here, and to be read, I have two books now, right? I'll give you a small exercise. Though it is refreshing, it comes back to the read all the time. Why don't in the next one you try to go back to the tab where you have added the book, so you can see it right there and then. Okay, how do you do that? Maybe I leave that to you how to do it, or I'll show you in the next one. But right now you fix this, right? It is working perfectly fine. Now let's say I want to update the book, so it comes to edit books here, right? And if I make it blank, it goes all blank. And if I try to save it, it's saved. No, and you have to enter all the book name, right? I don't want this behavior, right? Because see, this blank is good for when you're adding a new book, not when you are in the screen trying to edit a book. You are trying to update values, so making it all blank doesn't make any sense. So what I want to do is, if I am in the edit book mode, and if I click on this one, rather than making everything blank, I want to go back to the previous screen. Okay. How do you do that, right? So I think the concept remains the same, right? If I go back, I need to make all of those just like what I did, and then I have to do the same thing, right? But I have to do it when there's a reset button, right? So if you go to the reset button, there's a function written there, right? Where is the reset button? Right now it doesn't compare for whether you are updating or not. So you know that you have a flag, right? That flag is if update flag, right? So if it is update flag, you want to do certain things. If it is not, you want to do certain thing, right? So if it is update flag, what I want to do is, I want to say that what do I want to say? I want to say that the tab bar controller dot selected index is equal to 0, because I want to jump there. But at the same time, I want to make the update flag equal to false as well, right? I also want to do this, since I'm already doing it, there's no point of doing it here, right? So I'm only doing what is unique here. This is common for both. Now this one I want to only do if the update flag is false. See, this is a common part. It will make everything blank. But after making blank, if it is update flag, or maybe I can do it like this. First you make everything blank. And if it is update flag, you go back to the previous screen, And if it is not update for you, stay here, right? That's all I have done. Let's try to run this and see how it works out, and if everything is functioning the way we are looking for. Okay, so run this again. I have in to be read. Let's say I want to make it reading now. So I go update here and I decide, oh, I don't want to do dead vague, but maybe the other books. So I click here, boom, it comes back here. But you see here, I have to refresh the screen. So this is an exercise I gave you, that I have to shift between the two views to get the value again. So this is, you need to fix in the next, you try to fixing it and I'll show you in the next one, not today. But let's say I want to do now talking to strangers. I come back here and I make it to be read and I update this, boom, it comes here, to be read. Oh, it was already to be read, I'm sorry. So I'll say update, I'll make it currently reading, update this, to be read is dead vague, reading is talking to stranger. See, the view is not getting refreshed properly unless I swivel between the views. That's one thing I wanted to fix, but remind, if you leave that, everything else is working perfectly fine the way you want to make it function. So why don't you try that strange behavior of not refreshing the screen? I'll give you a cue. There is something known as, you can refresh screen by loading the table. You can also query to get the new value in so that you can show it accordingly. You can also figure out where you want to go. For example, you want to always land up on reading, you can do that as well. So think about those, and we will try to do that in the next one, and then we'll move to search and kind of bring an end to this tutorial from your overall standpoint. So thank you for listening again, and hope you like what you heard. If you do like, please do give a subscribe to my channel. Take care now. Bye.